Okay, ready. Hi, and welcome to Tina and Karen Do the Tube. I am Karen.
This is Tina.
All right. And it is the week of November 7th, 2020. And, hold on now. I got to check the levels because I'm coming out a little too loud. You're fine.
I'm
Okay.
always fine.
All right. So, Tina, how you doing, man?
Doing good. What a weird week for me.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
Not, well, we had the election.
That
We'll
was
get
weird.
to that.
That was weird? Because I thought that was sort of like everyone's calendar. We sort of saw that coming.
Yeah, it was an expected weirdness.
Okay, an expected weirdness. True.
Um, Other than that, I had a weird week in that second person I've known has died in the last month. Really
Oh.
weird.
What you someone second? What do you mean?
Yeah. It's someone I've interacted with, and they were within my age range. Um, First one you may know. I don't know if you know this. Did you ever know Dale McCracken?
The name sounds somewhat familiar. Did he go to our high school?
Yeah. He was in our grade.
Okay, I don't really have strong knowledge of him, but I do remember.
It's a
Yeah.
very distinct last name, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm sure you'd recognize him.
Now that's
Yeah,
it.
he died a few weeks ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just like.
really tragic too. He was clearing out his driveway in the morning to from all the debris from the windstorm
Uh-huh.
to get to work, and then I guess a giant branch fell and
Oh Jesus.
killed him.
Oh, I recognize him. I just looked up his obituary now. I remember this guy.
Yeah. I'd only spoken with him maybe like 2 times, but he knew some of my friends that probably had a much better relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's shocking. Wait, and then who's the other person who died?
Yeah, they just died on. Well, technically they're not dead yet, but they're in a coma right now.
Holy crap.
But it was they'd been to several of our house parties, and it was one of our roommates, the last couple that he lived with. He lived with them, and he died, or he went into a coma from cardiac arrest.
Really?
Sudden cardiac arrest.
And did he have
And
like a history of heart disease, or was this something that was unexpected?
I mean, he was a smoker. I
Oh.
know that contributes to it. But yeah, it took him like 10 minutes to revive him, and brain scan showed he had like irreversible damage. So yeah, it sounds like he's in a coma, and they're gonna pull the plug eventually.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
Well,
kinda
this has been a
weird.
down week, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, and then just the other day, to add to the weird week, someone I knew came out as gender queer too.
Okay, so now maybe you could help me out. What is gender queer?
I don't know. I gotta ask him more specifically.
But I mean, as best I understand, it's that they don't identify with male or female.
Yeah, I think he feels more like a
Well, are you wrong to call him
woman
a
in a
he?
man's body,
Well, that's transgender. That's not gender queer.
but he still likes women. So he wants to
Well, he's.
dress up more like a woman, I guess.
Well, it sounds like he's a lesbian. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but I think that would be the most basic terms to put it. He identifies as a female, but he's still attracted to women, so that would make him a homosexual woman.
Yeah, like all of us males, deep down on the inside.
What? All of us? What now?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm
I
all
think that's
hetero,
the joke,
baby.
is that we're all men are just you know.
I've definitely heard the sliding scale argument that no one is like 100% gay or straight. And one of my favorite comedians, like Ron White, he had the best joke about it. Like, because he said, like, oh, I have this friend who's a homophobe, and you think like he's like, oh man, this world would be so much better if there wasn't so many queers. And he's like, well, everyone's gay just on a sliding scale. And then he says, well, no, I'm not gay, not in the least. But he said, okay, do you like watching porn? He said, yeah, I like watching porn. And do you only watch porn with two women? He said, no, I like to watch a man and woman make love. Okay, would you like the man to have a flaccid, weak, limp dick? He's like, no, I like big, hard, throbbing cock. and then Ron White makes this face, and he's like, "I did not know that about myself." But that is a good bit that it does argue that like we're all on a sliding scale.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he would say he's somewhere on the scale that probably most people aren't. So
Right. He's probably right there, them dab in the middle. Okay.
right,
Is this someone I've met?
damn there in the middle.
I didn't mean for that to sound all hickish, but it came out that way. Is this someone I've met?
Yes.
Oh, really? Is it someone I know well?
No.
Oh.
Not someone I probably know well, but someone I interact with, a lot.
Ooh. The plot thickens.
Yeah.
I don't want to use
I
name.
don't want to give away his name.
No, we don't use names, but is this someone who might you be working with?
Not working with, no.
Okay. Well, that's harder to guess then, because too vague. Well, maybe you can tell me afterwards.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. But anyways, we really came together because we wanted to talk about current events. And there is nothing more current than the election, which just today they announced Joe Biden is our new president.
President-elect, right?
President-elect, yep. And
the AP.
that isn't 100% final. There's going to be court battles. This is not over, but all conventional logic and wisdom points to Biden as the next president.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm like most people on the left that haven't really thought what a Biden presidency would be like maybe until now.
Would you agree with the statement that there aren't anyone who's pro-Biden, there's just anti-Trump?
I'm sure there are people.
Have you ever met a pro-Biden person? Have you ever met someone who like really like, because I met like Bernie Sanders supporters, I met Tulsi supporters, Andrew Yang supporters, but I haven't met anyone who actually voted for Biden in the election, in the general primary. I did know someone who, wait, that's not true. I did know someone who did vote for Biden in the primaries, but her argument was simply, he's the only one I think could beat Trump.
Okay.
So it was still an anti-Trump position.
Yeah, no difference there. If there are, I feel like they're mostly on the East Coast because I really haven't met anyone personally that was. A lot of people that I know were pretty disappointed he was the one.
Who do you think is Biden's voting base? Like, you can argue that like Bernie appeals to young socialists, or and you could probably argue that Andrew Yang appeals to working class Americans, rural Americans, but
probably tech Americans.
Yeah,
too.
tech people too, for sure. But who do you think that Biden appeals to the most, if there was a group?
I feel like he's maybe like the most vanilla out of all of them.
Well,
he's probably the biggest example of someone coming out of the establishment. I mean, he was first elected to the Senate in 1972.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it was 32 years ago when he first ran for president.
Yeah. There definitely wasn't a huge campaign slogan of change with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Because like you can't really argue, hey, this is the new candidate of change, a geriatric old man who's been in the Senate for 50 years.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I'm sure if you're running for president on either the Republican or Democratic, ticket, you probably have a good enough ego to think you're going to win, at least initially. And he's thought about being president for quite some time, so I'm curious to see what that means. From what I am hearing initially, it seems to be because he just gave a speech earlier today. I haven't listened to it.
No, I didn't listen to it either.
But it's supposed to be a presidency about like coming together. Whether that's
that's not gonna happen. But kudos to Biden for paying lip service to unity.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy to pay lip service. We'll see what actually happens.
Well, it's going to be an interesting first 2 years for Biden because currently the Senate is not on his side. The Republicans managed to hold the Senate, and
There's still two races outstanding, right?
Yeah, Georgia, but those are both going to go to the Republican. I'd be very shocked to find out that they go to the Democratic candidate.
Mm-hmm.
But there are two more seats to be determined. But the House of Representatives is showing a huge swing towards the right. I don't know if they'll. It's still up for grabs if they're going to claim the House, but they're making major strides in capturing seats.
Yeah.
And also, the Republicans won the majority of the state legislatures around the country. So, really, it's Biden is now the president of a divided House. Well,
from what we've seen in the past, the most ineffective presidents have really never had. They've had at least one side of Congress on their political side.
Right, and I'm actually all for that. I am booyah, all about gridlock, baby. Fuck yeah. No, I mean, like, seriously, because I'm very vocal about my opinions. I didn't vote for Biden. I have very strong opinions against, not necessarily him, but the Democratic Party, and mostly Kamala Harris. She's the one who really scares me. Biden's this flaccid, senile old man. I'm not afraid of him. I just don't think he's in charge. I think he's a puppet. No, but I'm at least glad that the government is divided, because that means there can't be sweeping changes. That's good. That's good news.
Division.
What?
Division.
Oh, no,
Division
I'm not for
2020.
division. I'm just for gridlock.
Inaction.
Yeah, exactly, in action. If you don't have a supermajority of the country saying we want change, you don't change. If you have like 50...
I'm sure more people would want it to be just like how it was right before the pandemic.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that was sort of the argument. Is like, I don't think anyone seriously thought Trump was going to lose back in February. Everyone I talked to pretty much thought Trump had it in the bag. That the Democrats were putting up a, what would you call it? Just a, well, I don't know what the term would be, but just someone who's going to get knocked down. A paperweight, something.
Yeah.
But then the pandemic changed everything. So
yeah. I think your comment recently was the real losers coming out of this election were the pollsters, right?
Oh yeah, they should all learn how to code. They basically demonstrated to the entire country that they are basically useless. They're not good at their job. They predicted a Biden blowout, and it ended up being like one of the closest, probably the closest election in.
What is it? Is it closer than
Bush Gore
2016?
It is
I think
actually.
he got more votes, didn't he, than Clinton did, or there was a wider disparity?
Well, here's the interesting part. Like, Trump actually got the second most votes of any political candidate for president in U.S. history. It just so happened that Biden was number one.
Yeah.
So it was like, but that's the thing. It was 50% to 48%. That's a fucking close. That's 2% difference in the popular vote, and then the Electoral College was, goddamn, decided by tens of thousands of votes, if that, really. So, no, this is the closest election in U.S. history, and they were predicting a Biden blowout, and they should all look for other jobs. No one's going to take what they say seriously anymore, and for good reason. Because I've tend to track, because I've been talking to a lot of people who watch the mainstream news thought this was going to be a blowout, and people who don't watch the mainstream news thought it was going to be a close election, and they didn't know if Biden would win, and they didn't know if Trump would win, but they thought it was going to be a toss-up. Yeah.
Are you surprised that Biden is leading in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a little bit because, like, from everything I've heard about Pennsylvania is that, like, it's hard to find a Biden sign, and you find Trump signs everywhere. Plus, I think I mentioned to you the cookie poll.
Yeah. Do you want to tell people about that?
Sure. So there's this bakery that happens to be in a swing county in a swing state that has accurately predicted the last 4 elections. And They actually predicted that Trump would win in 2016, but it was by such a narrow margin, like 51 to 49%. And the cookie poll is basically you buy a cookie, one that says Trump, one that says Biden. But like the baker in Pennsylvania said this was a clear runaway for Trump. Like he was outselling Biden like 2 or 3 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I was shocked that Biden won Pennsylvania. Very shocked, actually.
Those cookie pollsters, we gotta lump them in too.
Yep, I guess so.
So Biden's probably gonna become president. What happens, we don't know. We know he's said he's going to only serve one term.
Right. So
does Trump run again?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, how old is Trump?
He'll be, if he reruns in 2024, he'll be the same age that Biden is now.
And I thought Biden was too old. I am torn about that. Should Trump rerun?
Well, there should and will.
Okay. Will he rerun? Maybe. I think so. Yes, he probably will. But should he rerun? I don't know. I've actually become more of a fan of Ted Cruz. I hope he runs in 2024. And there's a few others.
There's a list gathering of who might be running in 2024. I think Ted Cruz is on it.
Ted Cruz is probably the only Republican I would vote for. I mean, there might be others, but I don't know of any of the other big names that are probably going to run.
Big one that really is I'm seeing floating a lot, and saw even floating a lot before all this was Nikki Haley potentially.
I've actually heard of. Yeah, she was the ambassador to the UN under Trump.
Yeah, she's the only one they say that kind of has been able to voice her displeasure with Trump, before his election, and then work with him during his election, and then also leave on amicable terms after, leaving the ambassador to the United Nations seat.
Well, there's a fair argument that Nikki Haley might actually appeal to the Republican establishment, the corporate establishment, and the
but that's not why Trump won.
Oh, no. But like that's like I was listening to a political analyst who said like there should be a new coalition for the Republican Party of working class Americans, Trump supporters, and suburban people, Mitt Romney supporters. That would be the best other example, because that would be a winning coalition. Maybe Nikki Haley appeals to both. I think that would be. I don't know. I don't know if she gets the Trump vote like Trump did. That's the thing. I think Trump was in a unique position to actually affect change in Washington. And now that he's out, I don't know who would be a good Ted Cruz. That's who I'll vote for if he runs.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about the other candidates, who are the biggest personalities? Probably Trump and Cruz. And Cruz, was the one who eventually lost the ticket to Trump. And
yeah. Ted Cruz was the only one who actually put up a fight against Cruz. My friend, who is a Republican but voted for Biden, said he would want to vote for Marco Rubio. I don't know enough about Rubio. I don't like him. I really don't. But I would have to look more into him.
Little Marco Rubio?
Yeah,
call him,
I don't know what they called him. But the only thing I know about him is that he's from Florida and he's Cuban. That's it. I don't know anything else about him. I think he's like too corporate. He seems too sterile. I don't like him. I don't trust him. But
yeah,
we'll see. Maybe he runs in 2024. But I guess
I just want to say I do think Ted Cruz looks a lot better with a beard.
I know. He fucking looks like I think this is going to be a growing trend since hipsters are a thing. I think we're going to start seeing more politicians with facial hair cuz the last president to have facial hair was, guess who? Try to guess.
Lincoln.
Wasn't Lincoln. It's more recent than that. No, it's more recent than that. It's Taft.
Okay.
They had a mustache. And since then, it's been just clean shaven, and I think that's got to stop.
It's got to stop.
No, it does. I mean, in the same way JFK destroyed the era of the hat, I think that Woodrow Wilson destroyed the era of facial hair. We need to bring it back. I want to see fucking like mutton chops.
Such a weird thing.
No, it's a beautiful thing.
No, a weird thing that it just suddenly went out of flavor for over a century, or almost a century.
I want to ask you something.
Mm.
Okay, when you look at pictures back from 1940s and previous, and all the men are wearing suits,
Hmm.
do you kind of personally, maybe a little bit, miss the idea that people got dressed up just to go outside?
Maybe a little bit more now that we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Because
There's a lot of talk about what people will wear, or what is more societally acceptable to wear out in public after this.
So here's the thing that I personally hate. I hate seeing people wearing sweatpants when they go out doing errands.
I was literally just doing that before I got back home.
Oh, for God's sakes, Marty. And listen, I think that blue jeans, like, I wear blue jeans. If I'm going to go outside the house, I'm going to put on some blue jeans. And they're not clean, so I'm not saying I am some sort of, what would you call it, aristocrat or I'm a hypocrite, really. But I actually do admire the fact that, like, back in the day, people got dressed up just to do everything. If you're going to go outside the house, put on at least a button-up shirt and a tie. At least.
I don't know about ties, though.
I
feel like ties just they don't serve any practical purpose anymore.
No, they don't.
Really, their purpose was to wipe your forehead if you were getting sweaty, right?
Is that right? I think I've heard that.
Yeah.
But it's not so much about practicality; it's about appearance. I want people to take
more
pride
effort in their appearance.
I just want people to take pride in the fact that in their community. Like, I was talking with my friend who's from California, and he said, like, one of the things that he found the strangest about Washington was how lax people were about their appearance. Because in Southern California, everyone, when they go out doing the grocery shopping or whatever, everyone got dressed up. The women would put on their best makeup. The guys would, like, wear their nicest clothes and, like, groom their beards and everything, all that sort of stuff. Up here, I just see, and he's like, you guys don't do any of that.
In California, really?
Southern
Or
California.
Is this pre-pandemic or
No,
current pandemic?
he hasn't lived in California in about 10 years, but he said when he was in Southern California, that was the norm. And I talked with my wife, who is from Venezuela, and she sort of says it's sort of the same thing about Venezuela versus Ecuador, where she also lived. Venezuela, it was hot. They wanted to look good no matter what they did. And in Ecuador, people were far more lax. They just went out in their street clothes, their home clothes, their comfort clothes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, it's especially common out in the East Coast to kind of dress up more if you're going out to dinner.
Well, going out to dinner, I really would hope you do that.
Yeah, but and especially in Seattle, it's people might put on like a collared shirt, but they're not going to go full tie and fancy shoes.
I'm just saying,
Black.
when I see pictures of people back in the 1940s or 30s, everyone looks dapper. They look fucking
Dapper.
Yeah, they look fucking good. If I were to take a picture of people on the street here, I'd be like, God damn, we've fucking like gone downhill.
We should start doing that. Just start taking pictures of.
No.
Try to measure the climate.
Oh, jeez. God damn. I really do. I am a hypocrite though, because I know I speak about this in the sense that I want to see more of it, but I will never personally do it. It's too easy just to go out in my for instance.
You'd like to see this, but you yourself would never.
I'm too fucking lazy. I don't care.
It's practical.
Yeah, well, for instance, like, I'm gonna go pick up dinner after this podcast, and I'm going in what I'm wearing right now, and what I'm wearing right now is like my loosest fitting t-shirt and like pajama bottoms. I'm just gonna go, because I'm just gonna go pick up the food and come back.
I just went out in my gray camo sweatpants, my societal collapse sweatshirt.
Damn.
And my hat that says Martin on it.
All right. You have a hat that says Martin?
I have two hats that say Martin on them.
Is that like
One I
cool?
bought.
Is that like what people consider cool? Like, hey, you got your
I
clothes
wanna
with your
make it
names
cool.
on it?
Sure.
Sure.
Who else does that?
Football players, they have their jerseys.
It's more of a logo. Okay, maybe there's a small point there, but
Yeah, fair enough.
did you have any thoughts? Because I told you that there'd be something I kind of miss about the Trump presidency.
Is it the memes?
I don't know. It's just the whole culture changed when he became president.
I don't think the culture.
Maybe that's a sign of also just the internet kind of becoming more internet-y.
I don't think the culture changed. I just think people became more aware of it. For instance, I've been talking with a friend for the last week or two about the division that he thought Trump caused. And I said, no, man, Trump didn't cause the division. He is a symptom or a result of the division, but he didn't cause it. He couldn't have possibly got elected if there wasn't already division. But if you're talking about the culture change, Trump was the first internet president.
The internet.
It's true. He did all of his communication via Twitter. All of his supporters weren't getting their news from the mainstream media. I'll tell you that for fucking damn sure. They went to other sources.
Yeah.
They had to go to the internet, find other sources because they didn't trust the mainstream news. In fact, mainstream news is at like its all-time low in terms of like reliability and trust. So
that's for sure. And people, regardless of what you think about his presidency, the fact that became more transparent is we can thank to him.
I do think that more people are waking up to the world we're living in, and that I think the mainstream media will. It's a war, though. It is. I think, not to sound too crazy, but it's an info war. It's about like the alternative media versus the traditional media. And the traditional media doesn't like the alternative media because more people are listening to it. Really, they don't like the traditional media. So the traditional media is using some censorship practices and other like sort of corporate practices to sort of silence the opposition. And people are finding new channels. That's why I don't think YouTube will be a huge thing in the upcoming future. I think more people are going to tune it out because YouTube has made it very clear that they're corporate, that they don't care about the independent media anymore. So
yeah, I guess one of the biggest issues going forward will be to keep the internet kind of free and open. And
I hope so, because it just doesn't seem to be trending that way.
Doesn't seem to be, and I don't know. It's something we'll have to see. If there's another big war or anything like that, there could be more restrictions on.
Oh, with Biden? Oh, there's definitely going to be a war.
View. I don't know.
With Biden, there's definitely going to be a war. Are you kidding me? That's like no brainer.
Predictions on who?
Predictions on him? He's going to be a lame duck president.
On who we go to war with.
Ooh, Venezuela.
It's possible.
I think it's very likely.
Is that what your wife is? Does she have thoughts on that?
Me and Mary don't talk politics very much. I get it. I get a feel of what she generally believes, but we don't really talk about it very often. And I like it that way. I don't really want to talk politics at home. We generally agree, I feel like, on most things. And the only opinion that she strongly holds is that she told me, if you're a socialist, I won't date you. That's the one thing she said. So,
well, you're.
No, I love freedom, so I'm definitely not a socialist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing I'll say about me is I like, it's like my friend has been trying to figure out what do I value, and I'll tell him and I'm trying to figure out what he values. We've been having this ongoing conversation. So I'm not a hard person to figure out. I love freedom. I want to maximize individual liberty, and that's that.
Yeah. Sounds like most of us, really.
Right. But
I'll just say this one last thing on Trump's presidency, too, is that I guess I will miss having a president that is so dishonestly honest or honestly dishonest.
I think it's dishonestly honest.
Yeah, it just, and so we'll just speak his mind. Or
what I mean by that is that, like, there's always a nugget of truth to what Trump says. But the problem is he doesn't think about what he says ever. So he just says what's ever on his mind. He is the most transparent president there's ever been, if you just consider that fact.
Yeah.
He does not hold anything back ever. And like, And, like, he'll say stuff that's just factually inaccurate because he boasts, he exaggerates, he gets things wrong. But then
And
people...
he'll even admit it sometimes,
Yeah.
I guess, to reporters that he will kind of play up stuff.
Right. But then people do the research and they find out, okay, so he got a lot of these facts wrong, but he's generally right about this. I don't like the scripted lies. There was a quote from back in 2016 that I liked, that people found more truth in Trump's unscripted lies than in Hillary's scripted lies. So that's why they voted for him, because he's not the kind of guy who is deliberately lying to people. He's just he has no filter. He just says everything that's on his mind.
I think like when things are more scripted, it feels like someone else is pulling the strings.
Exactly, and that's how I feel about Joe Biden. I don't think he's in charge. So people have asked me, like, do I feel threatened by Biden? No. Like I said, he's a flaccid, senile old man. So if you're worried about the fact that, like, okay, the memes are going to go away, the memes aren't going away. There's plenty of meme potential in Joe Biden.
Well, maybe the what was it, the window, the analogy you always bring up.
What's the window analogy?
The one where the political window.
Oh, the Overton window.
The Overton window. Well, maybe there's like a meme window, and that will shift.
Well, I've seen a lot of Joe Biden memes because, like, the guy can't talk. I mean, like...
It's becoming worse and worse, yeah.
Oh, no, I know. I mean, first off, there's the creepy Uncle Joe thing because he's always touching kids in really weird ways. But then there's also just the fact that he can't talk. But, I mean... I'm not threatened by him, and that's the whole pitch for Joe Biden. That's why everyone voted for him. Like, he is the status quo. There's nothing unknown about Joe Biden. He's just everyone knows who he is. So,
I'm also glad there'll be a dog in the White House again.
Okay, that's nice. I am threatened by Kamala Harris, though. I mean, I will be fucking terrified if Joe Biden ever does resign or die or anything. I think if Joe Biden has any sentience left in him, he should hire a food taster, because I think Kamala Harris will poison his food.
I was actually bringing this up with my coworker, and I was wondering, like, well, he is old. What if something did happen in between the time that he was / the election was happening, or in between now and when he gets sworn into office? And it does seem like it would go to Harris if anything did happen to him.
That will be the day I panic. But until then, I just hold out. Our country is strong. Our country has a great constitution. And like I said, the Republicans held the Senate, and they are maybe going to get the House, and they have the Supreme Court. So the country will survive, even if Kamala Harris gets in charge. And she does scare me. But we'll be fine.
Yeah. Ready to move on?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Tina and I are going to revive an old segment that we used to like to do back in the day when we first started this podcast. And what it's called is Non-Radical Views on Mostly Mundane News.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We're moving into that territory, folks.
Right. For all those people out there that are tired of reading the hard-hitting...
Every little thing about Trump.
Yeah, well, okay. That's also true. For the people who are kind of sick and tired of the really hard-hitting news, the ones that really affect us, and you just want to sort of decompress and hear some sort of joke story that really doesn't affect you but is kind of silly to think about, these are the stories for you. And Tina and I will take some hot takes on mostly mundane news. All right. The first story I got for you...
I have not heard any of these.
No, this is Tina is going to be reacting to these in real time because we haven't discussed any of them. All right. The first headline I have to read, and the first two words are not going to surprise you. Florida man gets mauled after paying $100 to belly rub a panther.
Wow.
All right.
That's a really hard hitting there.
It's hard hitting.
Yeah, man,
all right. So
swiping.
Yeah, a man in Florida was mauled after paying $100 for a full contact experience, and that's in quotes, with a black panther. 50-year-old Dwight Turner underwent 2 surgeries since being attacked by the animal on August 31st. His wife, Natasha Turner said in a sworn written statement to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Dwight Turner and the leopard's owner, Michael Pogge, 54, arranged for him to play with it, rub its belly, and take pictures on Pogge's property.
So was this an Instagram thing?
I don't know if it's what is it done for Instagram? 50-year-old's not going to be on Instagram.
You never know these days. Florida men, maybe.
That was the giveaway. I didn't have to say anything else after those first two lines, and you just wrote the story in your head, didn't you?
Basically, yeah.
Right.
Is he suing the guy that he gave $100 to?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, but Pogge is facing 2 misdemeanor citations for allowing this experience. As that's what it says. Pogge was issued 2 misdemeanor citations for allowing full contact with an extremely dangerous animal and maintaining captive wildlife in an unsafe condition. So, my question to you would be is there any part of you that would want a full contact experience with a deadly animal? And if so, which animal?
You basically cut off right in the middle of that question, and then first thing I heard was, if so, what animal?
All right, I'll say it once.
It's kind of left up to my imagination here.
No, I'll just say it again. Is there a part of you that would ever want a full contact experience with a deadly animal? And if so, what animal?
You had to throw the word deadly in there.
Yeah. I don't want you saying like there's a fucking kitten I'd love to have a full contact experience with. Well, no shit, because it's a kitten. It's beautiful.
Full contact experience.
Yeah.
Body rubbing and all.
Yeah, you're gonna get in the cage with it. You're gonna do a little dance with it. You're gonna rub its belly.
Get down.
You're actually gonna touch a deadly animal. Is there any part of you that would want to do it just to say you did it? And if so, what animal do you think you'd want to go toe-to-toe with?
Toe-to-toe. I'm thinking, and I think I'm going to go with the safe route. I'm going with orcas.
Orcas? Oh, wow. That would kind of scare the hell out of me. They're too big.
I think it would, but they're the only known instances of orcas, attacking humans is in SeaWorld.
Yeah, SeaWorld's got to get its shit together. That's sort of a cop-out then.
Exactly.
No, come on. It's like swimming with the dolphins sort of thing. No, you got to, what about a polar bear?
Is that yours?
This is what I was thinking of. They're the biggest.
I guess a tiger would be fun. Some pictures with it.
Polar bears are
I don't know if I'd ever do it, though.
But do you know that polar bears aren't its own species, technically?
Do you know they're considered more aquatic animals than land animals?
I didn't know that. But
yeah.
No, technically they're not its own species.
How so?
They're not genetically different enough from brown bears to be classified as their own species. They just have a different color coat. But they're just brown bears that migrated north. Like not even that long ago, like 10,000 something years ago or something like that. Really short time frame.
I want to say they're different enough. I call bullshit.
Oh, you call bullshit?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Polar bears are brown bears. I'm going to send you the link.
Okay. You got it?
Yeah, but it doesn't help my cause. All right, moving on.
All right.
No, here's what I found out. A DNA study clarifies the relationship between polar bears and brown bears. Polar bears are remarkably homogeneous species with no evidence of brown bear ancestry, whereas the ABC Island brown bears show clear evidence of polar bear ancestry. So
maybe they intermingled at one point.
Well, it's like a wild rabbit fucking a domestic rabbit.
Liger.
A liger, yeah. By the way, Peppy's right here with me. Peppy! he's just sitting by my chair.
About your pet?
It's a pizzly. That's a liger. It's a polar bear and brown grizzly. It's a pizzly.
Okay. I want to go grizzlar.
That sounds too cool. I'm gonna go pizzly. Okay. Anyways.
Also, fun fact about bears: I guess black bears can come in all sorts of colors. They can come in white, brown, or black.
Holy crap! Black bears can come in all shades and colors. Doesn't that kind of defeat its name?
Pretty much, yeah. But they are the only ones that can climb trees out of those three.
All right. You ready to move on? I got another headline for you.
Sure.
All right. A Pittsburgh mother is furious over her 7-year-old's, quote, creepy underwear assignment.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Okay. 7-year-old underwear. I don't know what could go wrong.
All right. A Pittsburgh mother is very upset after her 7-year-old daughter received a questionable homework assignment online. Her daughter is in a second grade Pittsburgh Liberty in Shadyside. She told Channel 11 while she was helping her daughter with her homework, one of her assignments asked her child to, quote, post a picture of your creepy underwear online. This is the sort of news that could really, really go bad really quickly.
Am I missing like a key part of this?
There might be. Well, I haven't actually read the whole article yet because this might actually not be mundane news. This might be fucking serious. All right.
We're breaking news here.
Yeah, we are. The mother said it was disturbing, inappropriate, and now demands the teacher be fired. She reached out to Channel 11 to warn other parents what happened. I'm upset. This is her quote. I'm upset about it. I don't want my daughter engaged in anything, uploading anything personal to the internet. I was so angry, I took pictures of it. The assignment asked students to post a photo or describe their underwear. This is starting to get a little weird. I only saw the headline.
This is pretty weird.
No, I only saw.
It doesn't seem very mundane.
No, it doesn't. I'm afraid it's not. The district is this is kind of creepy. Really creepy. And I only clicked on the headline because it sounded like a joke. But it's now I'm starting to see it from a different lens and it's getting really weird. All right. So, Channel 11's Jillian Hartman, this is from Pittsburgh, obviously, reached out to Pittsburgh Public Schools for an explanation, and the district officials issued the following statement. Quote, the district is aware of a questionable activity assignment by an educator as part of a class reading of the Halloween-themed book, Creepy Pair of Underwear. The assignment has been removed, and the incident is currently under review. As this is a personnel matter, no further information is available. So, do you think that this was done with mostly innocent intentions? Or was this teacher really a creep?
Oh, man. That last little bit makes me think it could have been done by accident, but really? I mean, okay, so there's a children's Halloween book that says
there's a
creepy pair of underwear, right?
Yeah. There's a children's Halloween book called Creepy Pair of Underwear.
Okay. I did read Captain Underpants a lot as a kid.
Yeah, I know, but how often did your teacher ask you to describe your underwear to them?
Not that I can remember.
I don't think it happened. Yeah, so that's the thing. Could it be completely innocent intentions? Yeah, I could say that, but at the same time, the teacher should have known better. I do think that.
Yeah, I think they probably were just being a little bit ignorant, or just didn't know what could be wrong with that initially and didn't really think it out.
Didn't think it out.
I did look up the creepy pair of underwear. It kind of looks like Frankenstein.
Okay. That's cute. That's for kids.
Creepy pair of underwear craftivity.
Oh my god.
They give you pairs of underwear to draw faces on.
All right. Jesus.
It is kind of weird. I don't know, but I like I said, we did grow up with Captain Underpants.
Captain Underpants was a good read.
I don't know about this. I'd have to read it.
Taught me everything.
Not that I will.
No, Captain Underpants was a really impactful book for me. Totally changed my view on slavery.
Was Captain Underpants actually their principal? Is that what?
Yeah, that was Captain Underpants. Like the two kids, they hypnotized or something their principal.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And like the principal thought he was a superhero. Peppy, are you gonna get hurt? Sorry, my rabbit's right by my chair seat, and I think I'm gonna keep rolling into him. But moving on. Here we got one. This is from the New York Times, so legit. Picturing yourself with Bob Ross as the experience opens in Indiana.
Bob Ross, the experience?
Yep, I opened this one up because of Bob Ross, who, for those who are unfamiliar, Bob Ross is the very classic PBS host of The Joy of Painting, which was when he taught people how to paint brilliant works of art in under 30 minutes if you have the talent for it, which most people don't.
He's an American treasure, people.
Oh, he's more than American. He's a world. No, it's like Terry Crews and Bob Ross.
Terry Crews.
They belong to the world.
Keanu Reeves.
They all belong to the world. These are fucking international treasures. I do like Terry Crews though. What do you think? Terry Crews is like one of those. Who dislikes Terry Crews?
I think he got a little bit of backlash when I think he made some comments on the BLM movement that not a lot of other black people liked.
Yeah, he's not in favor of Black Lives Matter in the same sense that a lot of people are, but I don't think that hurts his reputation. Most people love him.
Most people will probably forget about that.
Well, yeah.
And he did come out during the Me Too movement.
What did he say about the Me Too movement?
He came out saying some TV producer, exec, some guy just, copped the feel while they were at some party.
Oh, I believe it. Fucking Hollywood producers are creeps. Harvey Weinstein's it's the most publicized, but that's not crazy to think about happening in Hollywood. Hollywood is just a bunch of fucking really, really creepy people.
Yeah.
Which is funny because we still look to them for all of our advice. I don't know who doesn't. I only, when I think about who am I going to vote for, I always go to Chris Evans.
Chris Evans?
Captain America.
What does he say?
I don't know what he says, but I fucking trust him. I'm making a point that actors are good at acting, musicians are good at making music, but why should I care about their opinions on such?
Okay, good point.
They're entitled to their opinions. They're entitled to speak their opinions. I just don't like how they think that they're the great moral arbiters of our world.
Yeah, leave that for Bob Ross.
That is Bob Ross. Bob Ross deserves it. So Bob Ross is... he is the most relaxing, soothing voice you can imagine. And I will tell you a little anecdote about Bob Ross before we get into this. But Lexi Vann was... no, this is written in one of those ways that pisses me off. It's sort of a story. Yada, yada, yada. Their pilgrimage brought them to Ross's former broadcast studio, painting workshop, and temporary art gallery, sheltered in a collection of historic buildings that are now part of the Minnesota Museum and Gardens. Yada, yada, yada. This is fantastic, quoted Brett Estes.
News.
Yep. But the crown jewel, I rated rating inside. This is a fluff piece. There's no news. I just wanted to talk about Bob Ross.
Oh, right. That's probably what the writer wanted to do, too.
Oh, goddamn. So, do you know why Bob Ross talked that way he did?
Was there a reason?
Yeah, the whole soft, whispery tone.
I didn't know there was a reason to it.
Yeah, there is. Did you know that Bob Ross was in the Air Force?
I think I had heard that, yeah.
Not only was he in the Air Force, he was a drill sergeant.
Oh, whoa.
So think about that for a second.
Can you imagine him as the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket?
Fucking hell, no, I cannot picture Bob Ross as my drill sergeant. I think that would be... for anyone who actually had to go through the experience of Bob Ross being your drill sergeant, I wonder if it's a really confusing experience years later to see that he's this artist on PBS.
Left stroke, right stroke.
Happy little
stroke,
trees.
Right stroke,
happy little trees. Just beat the devil out of it. Yeah, that's nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so apparently, Bob Ross, the reason he talked that way was because when he was a drill sergeant in the Air Force, he had to yell at people a lot. He didn't like it. So he vowed he would never yell again.
Okay.
That's that. That's the whole story.
He just spoke that way on purpose after all that?
Yes. Absolutely. Right. It's 100% conscious decision. There you could probably find the quote, but he said he vowed never to yell again because he didn't like it when he was in the Air Force. yelling at people always. And that's actually why he paints landscapes. He was stationed in Alaska. So he actually got through his time in the service just painting the landscapes. That's why they're always mountainous forests.
When are we going to have our first Bob Ross biopic?
Ooh, who should play him?
I want to say Will Ferrell, but I don't know if I'd want a comedic take or not.
No, I'd pick Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt?
We owe it to Bob Ross.
Oh, come on. There's got to be someone out there.
No, I want Brad Pitt to do it. I'm not saying Brad Pitt will be the best at performing Bob Ross. I'm not saying that he even looks like Bob Ross. I'm just saying that we owe it to Bob Ross to hire the most handsome actor to play him.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm looking at a young Bob Ross. It looks totally different.
What's young Bob Ross look like?
He's got like a clean cut, 50s hairdo, like kind of spiked up, almost Elvis-y.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. Who does he look like? Is there any celebrity?
There's one that's kind of coming to mind, although I don't know his name.
Brad Pitt?
Maybe if Brad Pitt lived in Alaska and, was in the military. Oh, Deadpool.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that.
A picture of Deadpool with a Bob Ross afro.
I do love Deadpool. Deadpool's amazing.
Did you want to talk any more about Bob Ross, or?
No, that was actually a fluff piece. I was not expecting that to be so lame.
Come on, get more mundane.
I have one mundane story if you want to hear it.
Sure.
All right. 8-year-old from Texas wins the first in kids category for best mullet in the United States.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right. An 8-year-old in Texas can now say that he has the best mullet in the United States after winning first place in the kids division in the 2020 Kids Mullet Championships. Two things. One, there's a kids division for a mullet competition, and two, there is a mullet competition.
For all ages?
Yeah, there's a kids division, so there's probably an adult competition, yeah.
Okay.
All right, Jax took home
have a picture of that?
Yeah, I will send you the article, and you can look it up. How do I get back to this? I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook because I don't know how to use Skype Messenger.
Okay.
Okay.
So what makes a good mullet?
Length, body.
Is it the length?
It's
it's
one
facial hair that goes with the mullet. It's obviously not if you're a kid, right?
Hold up, it's one criteria. I mean that's not one criteria. There's multiple criteria. That's just one of them. Is length. There's also body, color, curls, lift, and I would say buoyancy. Volume, yeah, exactly.
Oh, right, yeah, that kid definitely has all of that.
Yes.
And he's perfectly missing his 2 front teeth as well.
That's amazing. I think that's why they gave it to him. Jax took home a $500 prize and a gift card package for his curly moment.
$500?
How much you want to bet it's for Walmart, the gift card?
$500?
No, the $500 cash prize is just cash, but he also got a gift card. But it doesn't say what the gift card's for.
Okay. Maybe hair products?
No, I'm going to say it's Walmart. Hair products at Walmart.
Maybe it's like a Supercuts gift card?
No, you don't tack away with that. Anyways, he beat out 100 applicants. There was 100 kids that their parents let this happen. That's sad. And received 5,000 votes. During these this is a quote. During these tough times, it's important to have fun, said Kevin Bagola, president of the USA Mullet Championships. This is exactly what 2020 needed.
Yes.
Does this make up for...
I want to know who won the best one now.
I want to know who was runner-up.
It shows them down below, and the kid Noah from Illinois.
Yeah, and Jude, a 7-year-old from Colorado, finished third.
Yeah, he dyed mullet. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Does this make up for 2020?
No.
Just no?
Yeah, no.
I say this makes it up. This is actually this is kind of uplifting news that we needed.
It is news that I did need, but there's a lot to ground to cover in 2020.
And then kids' mullets isn't enough to do it for you.
Not yet. Maybe once I see who won the actual mullet competition.
Oh, you mean they have to count all the mail-in ballots?
Mail-in photos?
The mail-in ballots for the mullet competition.
Oh, here we go. USA Mullet Championships.
Oh, you got the actual guy for the who won?
Hell yeah.
Oh my god. All right, mullet
Who's
competition. Oh my god.
Who do you think had the best mullet of all time?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Billy Ray Cyrus?
Yeah. Look up Billy Ray Cyrus. That was one good-looking mullet.
I want to say Joe Dirt.
That's a fake mullet. That's a wig.
That's a real mullet.
No, it's not.
A real movie.
No, it's not. It's come on. You have to go with a real mullet.
If I had to have a mullet, it would look like that.
What about Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Did he have a mullet?
He had a mullet at one point. Fine, not him. How about John Travolta in Pulp Fiction?
Too cool.
God damn it.
It's not dirty enough.
God damn it. Okay, Garth from Wayne's
the fact
World.
Of having a mullet is you got to be a little bit subversive.
How about Nicolas Cage in Con Air?
Did he have a mullet?
Yeah, he did.
That might just be right.
All right, okay. One more.
Did you know Nicolas Cage is set to be Joe Exotic
Joe Exotic.
from Tiger King?
Oh, I can see that. That's a good role for him.
Talking about a good mullet, yeah.
All right. That's actually that sounds amazing. That sounds like it would be a good movie. I was gonna give you one more. Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down.
Ooh.
That's a good one, right?
Ooh. I like that.
That's the best one, right?
Curly, it's funky, it's it's a statement.
It's the best. It's the best mullet of all time.
These guys are just trying to look cool.
And be
was a
cool.
Statement, though.
Look cool and be cool. I love this one. I got a picture of Kenny Powers with a T-shirt that says "Blink if you want me." I gotta get a T-shirt like that. That's awesome. It's so true. They all want me. They just can't have me.
It's
Did you like him with the cornrows when he in the second season?
Not as much as the mullet, but did it go more than 2 seasons?
I think it had 3 seasons. It had 4 seasons, but the 4th season's crap.
Yeah, it just once you get past, the first season, it wasn't enough material to work there.
I don't know.
Mostly Kenny Powers.
I know, no, but I like the second season. The second season when he was in Mexico, that was a really good season. I liked it.
Okay.
The 3rd season's more or less like meh, but it's a good conclusion, I guess. And then the 4th season's just completely pointless.
Yeah.
I hate shows that do that.
Shows got to know when to end better.
Yeah. What is the best show that? Okay.
The show that never ended.
No. Okay. Okay. What show? Can you think of a show that should have ended, but didn't?
Obviously, The Simpsons.
Fuck no. Okay. Maybe I put this another way. Can you think of a television series that had a very good episode that sort of wrapped the series up and gave you a good sense of conclusion, and then it just continued? I can think of a couple off the top of my head.
Yeah, what are yours?
You ever watch the show Scrubs?
Yeah.
Okay, so Scrubs had a really good finale episode, and then they came back for another season, which was crap. Dragon Ball Z should have ended after Gohan beat its Cell. The Buu saga was pointless.
All right.
And
I wish I knew Dragon Ball Z a lot better, but
that's
sure
right, you
our
didn't watch
Dragon
it
Ball
that
Z
much.
listeners will know.
That's right. And if you want to ever watch this show, it's a good one. It's called Money Heist or La Casa de Papel.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, La Casa de Papel. It's a really good Spanish heist movie. Well, it's not a movie; it's a television show. The first 2 seasons are perfect, and then they had a 3rd season.
All right.
Yeah.
And then they just more of the same.
It basically just redoes the plot from the first 2 seasons, and like no one cares anymore.
Classic.
It's just stupid. All right.
The only one that comes to mind for me was like Pokemon.
But there's so many more Pokemon that we possibly couldn't There's millions of Pokemon.
But it never got better than the first season, right?
I stopped caring after 151.
The first season?
No, I'll put the number on 151. When they introduced the 152nd Pokemon, I was like, fuck this.
Was it really? Was that Mew?
Well, first off, the Pokemon became really generic. Like they just look like, I don't know, like an 8-year-old drew them. And like I don't know, like it just felt complete with the 151.
151 rum.
Yeah, even when I play Pokemon today, I'll have to play the old ones. I'm not going to play any new ones.
Yeah, trying to learn all those new ones. Who knows how many there are? Any guesses on how many there are now?
I don't know. But if I say like Jibjor, is that like a Pokemon? Because I bet it is. And that's just me saying nonsense words.
How many Pokemon are there?
Nobody knows because they keep making more. You type that in.
Any guesses? Come on.
How many Pokemon are there? 511. 420.
932.
932 Pokemon. Jesus Christ. So if I were to like wander in the wilderness and look for Pokemon, odds are I don't even know the Pokemon I found. Great. No. That's sad. Our childhood is over. It's dead.
That was what was so great about Pokemon Go, is I got to kind of relive that Pokemon experience, I had. Did you ever get in?
I never did. No, I never did Pokemon Go, but I do appreciate that I think when they did Pokemon Go for the first time, they marketed it to the older audience, because if you look at all their commercials, it was all the original 150.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they knew, that's what's going to bring everyone in.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, like the first 2 weeks to a month, because you'd see everyone walking around on their smartphone and you knew what they were doing.
I remember it was the polar opposite of 2020.
Oh yeah, actually.
I do remember that. I remember thinking God, everyone's out and about. They're just outside. It's kind of this nice thing. I wasn't doing it myself. I remember taking bike rides and I'm weaving in and out between people who are just wandering the streets.
Looking at their phones, swiping up.
In one way, it's good and bad. I guess it did get more people outside, although they're just looking at their phones, but they're at least outside. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard there was one complaint where there was they had a station or some Pokemon where it would usually show up in this area, and it was at a bar, and so a lot of people would go into the bar and just be on their phones and not buy anything.
Yeah, that would piss me off. But how weird is it that Pokemon Go didn't actually allow you to battle at first?
Yeah, it was just about catching them and hatching eggs and all that.
That's a weird thing because
they had such a market. If they would have built more on that, I could still be playing Pokemon Go now.
Do you know what the Oculus Quest is?
I'm familiar with Oculus.
Well, the Oculus Quest is a VR headset that is completely wireless. You can just put it over your head with the joysticks, and you can just you don't need any connection to anything. It's wireless. The thought was maybe this could be used for a Pokemon game and Pokemon battling, because you go out to a field with another Pokemon trainer, and you both play a VR, what you would call enhanced reality. Augmented reality, not it's a complete VR world. It's actually an augmented reality where you see most of the world in front of you, but it has you see obviously the Pokemon. That seems like it has a lot of potential.
I hope that's where games go. Games are perfect as they are. Sitting in front of a screen, not having to move. But I think there's just something more they could add, where if you really had to wander around in real life.
I got you one better. I'll do you one better. And this is like video game related, but it's actually not. It's bigger than that. In our lifetime, we will experience full dive VR.
Full dives where we're just motionless, but in our minds we're
entirely
controlling
all senses are being fulfilled, and we are living in a VR world, and we're just basically in our homes, like in a chair or something.
No, that would be cool.
I think it's a reality. First off, it's possible. I've looked into this really like in depth. Is it like even scientifically possible to do? And it is. And I think in our lifetime we're going to experience full dive VR, and that's how they eventually get us. I
was just thinking that. How easy would we be to control once that?
It's the Matrix, man. It's like this is what they're gonna do for people. People are just gonna check out of reality because reality is gonna get so bad that they're just gonna want to be in VR the entire time, just like Ready Player One. It's a very much a fucking true story.
Do you think that will be the case? That's why.
I think full dive. I think
it will be like a motivating factor in why it happens so within our lifetime.
I don't think that's the more cynical part of me wants to say that it's actually not it's not guiding the decision, it's actually part of the plan. In the sense that it's not like Elon Musk, for example. He sees the world's turning to shit. He wants to help people. I'm going to invent full dive VR. Instead, it's more like Mark Zuckerberg, the evil one. He's out there saying like we're trying to take over the world, but we can't get rid of all these people. So what are we going to do? We're going to put them in VR. That's what we're going to do. So I think it's part of the plan.
Okay, I was kind of thinking more like we go into VR and everyone just becomes so like enamored and with it the real things and stuff aren't getting done or made.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. They're just going to want people to check out. They're going to have the robots and the AI basically run everything, and we are going to be basically, I mean, it sounds horrible, but it also, I mean, it's probably the best case scenario because if we have full dive VR, we're all basically living our fantasy life anyways.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Right. All right. I wanted to touch upon one last thing before we end this podcast because we've been on for about an hour, but I just wanted to hit you up with a quick survey because I sent this to you, and to put this into perspective, we talked a little bit of politics at the beginning of this podcast. Well, actually, quite a bit of politics. But maybe to the viewers, they don't really fully know your political perspective, or mine for that matter. I think I'm pretty open, and you're probably open too, but we're going to put it a little more clear for the viewer. So I found this 5-question survey. It's very, very broad in the sense, and I told you this off the air, I gave it to a friend of mine, and he scored 4 or 5 out of 5 right-wing, but he voted for Bernie. So it's not 100% accurate, I guess. But it generally gets the idea of what the two sides believe. And I wanted to give you the survey and see what you thought. So you actually already answered the questions, right?
Yeah, I'm looking back at my past answers here.
Right. So we'll go over them. But like the first question in the survey is like, so basically all these questions where there's 5 of them, it gives you 2 choices. Which do you value more, A or B? Which do you think?
I had to keep remembering that when I was doing.
Yeah, it's like which is more true? Which one do you think is more true, A or B? And so the first question was, which do you think is that more accurate way of describing you? Respect for the strong or compassion for the weak?
Yeah, and that one seemed pretty easy to me, and that because I think I was brought up within the church, I generally teach you to have more compassion for people without means.
Right. And that is the left wing one of the spectrum. The right is more characterized by respect for the strong, and the left is more characterized by compassion for the weak. Now, do you think there's purpose or importance for respecting the strong?
Certainly, no. Can't have 2 chiefs. Need 1 chief.
Right. So you do think that. So what value do you get from respecting the strong?
I mean, you get an obvious leadership perspective, and I tend to think the best leaders will have more compassion for the weak. But that isn't always the case because, you know.
Do you think that respecting the strong also gives the weak a sort of idol or a role model? So let me put it another way. Like, does it help people who are in sort of the bottom rung of society to know that there are achievers out there who are in their position? Say like Ronaldo, the soccer player, for example. Like, well, Ronaldo came from nothing and he became a billionaire essentially because he worked hard and he focused. So that's the argument from the right wing perspective. Is like the more respect we have for the strong, the more role models we have for everyone, weak or not, to actually do better individually.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that argument. Again, I'm going back to my my biblical teachings, and I think one of the mandates was not to worship false idols.
Well, I don't know about worship, but yeah.
Yeah, and you really don't know. I mean, you have this image of who these people are, but you really don't know who they are, person to person or within their own daily lives.
No, and I'm not actually talking about, like, I use Ronaldo as an example, but like I think like your father could be an example of a strong person you look up to. So, I mean,
yeah.
And I'm not saying it's wrong for compassion of the weak, because I found that one actually incredibly difficult to answer because I think both are important. It's hard for me to pick one over the other. And for me, I think I would say... that's a tough one. This one was probably one of the more tough ones for me.
A lot of it, I think, depends on circumstances, too, Oh, a lot of these questions.
Well, yeah, that's why it's sort of broad. All right, the second question. Human beings are naturally competitive or human beings are naturally cooperative?
Yeah, I think I said I was most split on number 2, right?
I can't remember exactly what you said, but go ahead and elaborate.
Yeah. I think here is my answer here. We wouldn't be where we are as a species if we didn't cooperate. Friendly or at least non-violent competition is a fundamental part of being successful within a social hierarchy, though, and passing on I did do all this thinking and typing while I was drunk, so though, and passing on, genes. When resources are razor thin, we tend to be competitive, but when they are physically accessible and abundant in a society, we tend to be more cooperative. In America, though, it's a weird dynamic in that we are the most charitable nation in the world, but moving up within our own socioeconomic ladder seems to be as competitive as it ever has been.
I think those two things are related, though.
You think they're not mutually exclusive, being competitive and cooperative?
Well, no, that's like it's the same way with the first question. Like, it's hard to answer these questions definitively because I think
in a vacuum.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think respect for the strong is good. I think compassion for the weak is good. It's a question of which ones do you think is more important. The same with this. I think there's elements of human beings that are cooperative, and there are elements of human beings that are competitive. So the question is, which one do you think human beings are more? And I would say, just based on reading human history, human beings are more competitive. They may cooperate, but they cooperate for the purpose of competing.
They cooperate out of necessity, right?
Right, exactly. Like, your best chance at surviving was to work together, but what you're trying to survive about was usually a warring tribe that was coming at you. So that's competition. So
was it? I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, it eventually became people were warring over resources, just like tea or silk, or I don't think people ever went to war over water.
I don't know about that, but like, war didn't start in the 1500s, which seems like what you're maybe comparing it to, because you're talking about silk, like the Silk Road. War is the norm throughout human history. Like
That's
10,000 BC, you'll see wars between ancient Assyria and different Babylonians, the Timuruns, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, the Macedonians, the Romans, the Carthaginians. They fucking all fought each other. Well, what was the Indian society before?
I was making a joke like the Indians.
The Indians?
Just any of the eons and Indians and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's. I mean, like, war is just human nature, which I like to tell people because I feel like we take peace for granted. Because I think peace is not the norm. Peace is definitely the exception to the rule.
I tend to think people are more cooperative. I want to say, if we didn't cooperate, we wouldn't be where we are now as well.
If we didn't compete, we wouldn't be where we are as well.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, not to get too off topic, but capitalism is a system, an economic system that exists solely because it believes people are competitive and they want to fight for sort of economic dominance over one another. And ever since capitalism has been the economic system most adopted by the world, we've seen the GDP of the earth grow exponentially over the last 200, 300 years. Like, unbelievably fucking more. It's like it's almost. Let me if I had my book, I'd actually look it up.
People have to cooperate within those,
right,
businesses and everything in order to even be competitive.
Right, and that's why it's hard to say it's one or the other. Yeah. It's not exclusively one or exclusive the other. But I do think that we naturally cooperate to compete.
Yeah, there was a big thought in my mind when this was going on. It was that they don't seem to be mutually exclusive.
No, that's another one of the hard ones. The first two are the hardest. The third question, however, I thought was the most obvious to me, and you actually answered differently, so I would like to get into that one, because we actually agreed on all the other ones.
Okay.
But 3, inequality is natural and therefore just, or inequality is based on injustice. And you said that it's based on injustice.
Yeah, I got my head in a loop on this one. And so my answer was, my first thought was, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Seems to be a common phrase, especially for sports teams. But I think you could do it in real life too.
All right. So you believe equality is the natural state of things, and we divert from equality because of injustices.
Well, let me read out my thinking after that.
Sure.
And I said my more full thought that is that injustice seems to be natural. Therefore, inequality is also natural.
Uh-huh.
But if injustice was natural, then how could it also be just?
Well,
I'm just trying to think
how do you define injustice?
Just people not within a society not getting. It is a very human term,
Uh-huh.
Just not getting their fair shake, I guess.
Really? But that means like you define injustice as inequality.
Almost, yeah.
Okay, well, see, that's interesting because I don't. See, I would say like if I had two people in a room and one person has $5 and one person doesn't have $5, I don't assume that the person with $5 did anything wrong to the person who doesn't have $5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no evidence of it, and we don't know anything about the situation. So why is it right to assume that the person with $5 did something wrong to get it?
I don't know what we're accusing him of.
Well, that's exactly my point. Like, you seem to think that injustice and inequality are the same thing. I don't. I think justice is based on procedures, and when you violate the procedure, you've committed an injustice. Whereas you think that, like, if you just end up in a different place, even if you followed all the rules, That's an injustice.
Well, like I said, inequality is natural.
Right, that's
I don't think it's therefore just.
okay. So we should be. So you believe that inequality is natural, and help me out. Well, I'm sorry. This is the part I don't understand. Like, you do
Yeah.
seem to acknowledge inequality is natural, but you
Yeah.
think it's an injustice that it's natural. But that's the thing. Something can't be an injustice if it's natural, because injustice sort of defines like you've broken the rules.
Yeah, and
But
that's kind
nature
of the
doesn't-
paradox I'm in.
But nature doesn't really break rules. Nature is nature. It's not a value judgment of anything. It's just what things are.
Nature is nature, and we all are born in different shapes and sizes and into different families.
Yeah, like I got a big dick. Bothers me. No, I'm just fucking. I'm
I
just.
bother other women too.
I'm just fucking with you.
But the fact that inequality is natural seems to me that therefore like injustice is also natural, and
But
maybe
once
our
again,
interpretation of injustice is incorrect.
but you're defining injustice as inequality. I'm defining injustice as breaking rules.
And I guess that's where we differ. We have a different interpretation of inequality.
No, we have a different interpretation of injustice. We agree on what inequality is. It's one person has something, another person doesn't.
And it has to be something that the other person wants or
So
beneficial.
the definition of injustice is a lack of fairness or justice. But there's nothing in there about
I think
equality.
this is more of applied to
And then
societal
the definition of justice is a fair behavior or treatment.
that's the one you looked up.
That's Google. But I don't see anything in there about equality.
I mean, I guess it's all within the eye of the beholder,
Yeah, but we have words for a reason. Like, we
Yeah.
all generally agree what the words mean. Because otherwise I could say inequality means equality, and therefore it is not natural. I mean, words have meaning. I don't like us just changing words. Like racism. Racism is a word that's changed a lot in the last 5 years. It used to mean like judging someone based on the color of their skin, and now it just means, well, anything we don't like. Which is insane to me.
I kind of, in my thinking, is like, do you think injustice is a natural part of society?
Yeah, I think there will always be people who break the rules.
Yeah, so I'm not wrong in thinking that, right?
No, I don't think you're wrong in thinking that injustice is natural. I think that you're wrong in thinking that injustice and equality are the same thing.
They can go hand in hand, for sure.
Well, no, because they're just not. They're based on
I think
different
they're
terms.
born
Like
out of different things.
I mean,
My logic is, so I had to ask the same part to the first part of the question, and so if I think both things are natural, then if injustice is natural, how can it therefore be just? Because you have to ask that for anything that you think is natural.
okay, but then but the statement is inequality is natural.
Yeah, and therefore just. Therefore is a key part of that question.
Right. Okay. So if I had said
If I'm saying something natural, I have to also say it's also just.
so if I say inequality is natural and therefore fair, would your answer have changed?
Inequality is unfair, so it has to be fair.
No, inequality is natural and therefore is fair.
Inequality is natural and therefore fair.
Because we didn't do anything to produce the inequality. The inequality is the natural state of things.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that then.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I think at the end of it, I said I'd lean toward inequality is based on injustice or vice versa.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that at all. That's the only one that bothered me. The other ones, you and I would say like, hey, yeah, I can see that. That's a good argument. But the third one, when you said inequality is based on injustice, I just don't see it because, well, I don't want to repeat myself. But moving on, change is good or change is dangerous. And you said,
What did I say? Change is good.
yes.
I guess I started out thinking maybe not after kind of thinking about it, and then I came back to it, and I was kind of basically change is how we got here now. Whether that's good, it's subjective to personal interpretation. Good, how we, being mankind, change is also why we can have different interpretations. In the long term, it's far more dangerous to get stuck in your own beliefs. Also, far less entertaining. And then I went on about robots.
Yeah.
I mean,
this one gave me more pause than any of the other ones because I don't like the blanket statements. I mean, they're all kind of blanket statements, but I don't like this one the most because change is good. Well, like, I could burn my house down and it's changed. I don't think it's good. But change is dangerous. I could add an addition to my house, and now my house is better. But is it? But that's the only reason why I probably lean towards is change is dangerous because to me it feels less blanket. Because change is good is a blanket statement to me. Like change is change. Because I actually had an argument with one of my friends recently who he says I'm always on the side of revolution, and I said like, okay, well that means change for change's sake is good.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you could everyone could be wealthy, well nourished, happy, and we could change that to everyone's poor, everyone's miserable, and no one has anything, and that's good because it's change.
But I think you and I both agree that it's a lot more dangerous to get stuck in a state of unchange.
True. That's why I don't think I like either statement because I think change can be good, but I also know that change for change's sake isn't good. The change has to make sense to me first off.
Yeah.
So I also do kind of more agree with change can be dangerous because, a known versus an unknown, the known has a set value and the unknown doesn't. So we don't know if it's going to be better or not. So it's more risky. So, but it could be good, it could be bad. It's just risky.
Yeah, and the definition of good is what's beneficial for someone in the long term, right?
But I also don't think that like saying like change is dangerous, therefore never change, because things will change around you that you don't have control over, and if you don't adapt to those things, then you're basically that is bad.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah, so I don't like this one very much, but if I had to choose between the two, that's the hardest one for me to answer. Like,
I guess unchanged would be the more conservative.
Viewpoint. That was the right wing viewpoint.
Okay.
All right,
and then the last one, which I never actually answered.
No, leaders should be idealists or leaders should be pragmatic, and I rephrased it because.
I actually think I was in the middle of typing this, and then for whatever reason decided to go to bed.
All right. I'll rephrase it, and then we'll have to end this because now we're about hour 20 or so into this discussion, which has been enjoyable, but we got to wrap it up. Do you think that leaders should focus on maximizing happiness or minimizing harm? Because that's how I read the question. Between idealism and pragmatism. Should leaders focus on maximizing happiness or minimizing harm?
I would want to say maximizing happiness or minimizing harm. It depends on the type of leader. I think because we all are going to have different types of leaders in our lives, and
Jesus.
I know. I think that's what I was going on about.
I just thought of the movie like Avengers, like Endgame, or was it the other one? Infinity War. I don't know, but I just remember like the scene where like Iron Man confronts Star-Lord, or whatever his name was, Quill, I think. It's like it's like who do you, because they both of them thought the other one worked for Thanos, and Iron Man says like Tony Stark says like, wait, who's your leader? Or he's like, wait. Oh no, who do you follow? He says, who do you follow? As in like he's thinking it's Thanos. Who do I follow? Yeah. What am I supposed to answer? Jesus? And it made me laugh thinking a lot.
But yeah, I think like out of a spiritual leader, you'd probably want someone who would want to maximize your happiness. Maybe in a more business structure, you want harm minimized more.
All right, now split the difference. Let's talk about political leaders. You want
that's where it gets tricky, Do
you want a political leader who's focused on maximizing happiness amongst his citizenry, or do you want a political leader who will sort of do the bare minimum to make sure that like no one is unjustly harmed?
I would probably say minimize harm.
Okay.
I think if you were to maximize happiness, that's a little dangerous. Then there's gonna still be people that are unhappy, but then there'll be people that are way too happy and maybe content.
I would say that like happiness, harm seems more like an objective measurement than happiness.
Yeah, it's something that you can do. Like maximizing happiness, people's happiness is different for every single person. There's statistics that say, if you make this amount of money and have these certain things met in your life, you're happy, but people can become unhappy very, very quickly. It's not it's something, like they said, it's something you always have to pursue. And so I want to say, minimalizing harm. It's also dangerous because you're limiting people's freedoms. But it would seem to be something easier to do, I guess. Okay. Something more to think about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On each of these answers, I probably was thinking about them. I don't know, it took me a while to answer each one. Maybe at least 15 minutes for most, at least the harder ones.
And I would agree. I think the point of this survey is that you could see the argument, I think, for both sides.
That's the problem, is I can see the arguments.
Right. Well, no, that's not a problem. That actually makes you a actual, what I would say, good human being necessarily, because okay. it's you can actually, in the end of the day, pick your side, and that's fine. But as long as you understand the other side's arguments or the other side's opinions, that's okay to me. It's when I feel like we get into the reads when we try to demonize the other side, because we just don't care to understand the way they think, and so we assume the worst.
Yeah, it's much more dangerous not to understand the side, and I'd be wary of anyone that answered each of them pretty quickly.
Right. No, that I felt the same way. Like I thought all these ones were pretty tough to answer. Except for the third one. I thought that one was a little easier, but maybe I'm wrong for that. But say a lot.
Yeah, the third one made me think about like stoicism a lot. You familiar with that?
I know I'm a little familiar. I think that's the philosophy that people should just endure. Mm-hmm. Right? Kind of like it's like life is going to be terrible and you should just basically suck it up. Is that
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like a natural way of looking at things and accepting like natural law and like civil law and It'd be worth for me to probably read more into it. I know one friend that is a very adamant stoicist.
Who's that?
You don't know her.
I'd like to.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's been a good talk. I'm glad we got to discuss these things, but it's been about an hour and a half, so it's one of our longer ones, but I think also an enjoyable one.
Yep. The law of time is, it's one direction, and it's time for our directions to divide.
Jesus Christ. Not a time is cyclical. All right. Well, we hope to have a lot more future discussions with future peoples. That's a terrible way of putting it, but in the upcoming weeks, I really do hope that we have some more guests on the podcast, because it's always great to get new insight and new voices. So
maybe next week.
I'm hoping. I have someone in mind, so I will see if he's available, and I'll let you know. But for Tina and Karen do the tube, I'm Karen.
This is Tina.
All right. Take care of everyone. Stay safe and stay hydrated. We love you.